Happy New Year's, race fans, and welcome to Today at the Races on this first day of 2020. A big race year coming up ahead of us, a big race year behind us. I'm Tim Tullox, filling in for Stan Salter, joined by Keith Fustel. First of all, Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year to you and everybody else, all of our fans, and some of our maybe our haters. No, we don't have any haters, but hopefully you had a profitable 2019 riding along with us. I can tell you one thing, yourself, Stan, myself, I thought we did pretty good. I don't want to, get too high on the horse, but giving out some Stronach 5s, some regular pick 5s here, all the way through. I thought it was a pretty good handicapping year for the gang here at Laurel Park, and hopefully everybody else had a really good year. We're ready to ramp things up for 2020, and interesting year all in all with all of thoroughbred racing, some ups, some downs, but some highlights here. You wanted to talk about, how about Anna's Bandit? I did a nice little story on a blood horse in there the other day. Jay Huffy talking about nine wins for the year, phenomenal. And just real quick, some things that brought to my mind. how about Kofefe on Preakness Day? Man,
and coming back and winning at the Breeders' Cup.
That was probably the biggest highlight of a race that I called. So, a really, really interesting year. Had a lot of fun through it, and had a lot of fun working with you and Stan and Acacia and everybody else that was here with us, and just looking forward to a really good, profitable 2020.
Yeah, there were some interesting points in 2019 here in Laurel, Maryland. Kofefe, as you mentioned, sharing. Winning the Salima, then coming back and winning the Breeders' Cup, and then War of Will at Preakness was just, I thought, very, very impressive. And doing some segments with Acacia earlier in the week and watching War of Will train all week, I just knew. He was going to be very, very tough to beat that afternoon. Another record-breaking Preakness here in Maryland this year. So
and looking at things as a whole now, what we've kind of become, the facility itself, the upgrades we've had, some newer fans into the game, is really encouraging for us, and I think we're on an upward trend. We've seen some of our younger horses, our 2-year-olds now, really kind of making some noise and moving forward into the quote-unquote national scene. Sure. So that's something I think is going to continue to grow with the quality of our racing trending upward.
There's no doubt about it. It's getting better and better. But we did finish 2019 with a very, very interesting jockeys race.
Oh, yeah.
Until the second to last day of the meet, when Trevor McCarthy banged out 5 wins, 3 stakes, and opened up on Sheldon Russell and Alex Cintron. So Trevor would end the fall meet with 52 wins, 7 over Sheldon Russell, and another 6 over or 8 over Alex Cintron. But it was a really tight race until Trevor blew it open on one of the biggest days of the fall meet. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
He put the hammer down, basically, as we could say it. He dropped the hammer on him, and that was it. But it was an interesting race all the way through the final month or so. Glad to see Sheldon and Alex Cintron, who've battled some adversity. Even Trevor, these guys have been through a lot. Work their ways back, and highly competitive group. These guys get tied in with some good barns, and that's a niche. We've had some Bug Riders, or Rosales has kind of stepped onto the scene and kind of worked his way in there with Gonzalez, and that's obviously been a major push to him. But we've got some really good riders that could take their tack anywhere, in my opinion.
Anywhere. And speaking of Claudio Gonzalez, yes, he was the leading trainer for the fall meet. Once again, almost doubled up Mike Trombetta, 48 to Mike Trombetta's 25, Dale Capuano 20, and Kieran McGee 20. But look, these guys had good. Trombetta, Capuano, McGee, and a few others behind. Claudio had really, really good meets. Yeah. Claudio's just out of the spear.
Yeah, it's kind of the strength in numbers right now. I know Mike runs some horses. He's got some stakes type horses. They'll run a little bit out of town. Kieran and Dale kind of mainstays for the most part here, but Claudio right now, you got a lot of work to beat him. Let's just face it. He's got the numbers on his side.
He's got the numbers. Yep. He works hard. He's on top of his business and deserves everything he gets. For the end of the year, I think we have that board also, fellas, don't we, for most wins for the end of the year. It was let's just go to this. Happy New Year to everyone. And this is our racing schedule for the next few days. We race today, obviously. We do not race tomorrow. Thursday is dark, but we raced Friday through Saturday this week, January 3rd through January 5th, simulcasting only on Thursday. And then we go to a 4-day week starting next week.
Yeah, January, February, we're on a 4-day racing schedule, so looking forward to that. And, once again, I mean, we've got 8 races on today's live card, and we're going to go to the conditions. Is that what we need
absolutely.
next?
Yeah,
let's take a look.
Conditions. A little windy out there, no doubt. And we had a little bit of a cold front come in the other day. It was in the 60s, but the track is going to be fast. No turf, obviously, but it's going to be in the 40s and sunny.
Yeah, I mean the next few days. I mean we've been on a pretty good trend weather-wise with the warmth, and hopefully it sticks around for a little bit longer. I'm sure February, latter part of January, February, and March, it's going to reach up and
we're not going to get
grab
that
us.
Lucky.
Yeah,
we're not going to get that lucky. But every good day like this, and the days we've been having, is one less bad day getting toward the spring. So with all that said, we say goodbye to 2019, say hello to 2020, and we'll get started right here in race 1. No carryovers in any of our races today. Everything got thrown out, given away on the last day of the meet last Sunday, but we get started here with race 1, and the race 1 kicks off the early pick 4 with its low 12% takeout and mandatory payout every afternoon. So you want to get on to the early pick 5 here this afternoon. And race 1 is a maiden claiming event, going a flat mile. Maiden 3-year-olds a claiming price of $40,000. And Keith, you've got the 3 back charge for Phil Schoenthal. Trevor McCarthy gets the call, routing on the main track for the first time.
Yeah, I thought the debut was fairly encouraging on the 1st of November. Closed up a little bit late against a quality field when it was all said and done. Tried the turf. Yeah, we could see why. The Jack Milton Stallion, you see turf there, bottom side. Certainly with Flash Phelps in the family, but Flash Phelps could handle the dirt. Action Andy, he could handle the dirt as well. So if this is going to be first-time blinkers on the main track, has the stamina build up. I'm just looking for a little bit of a price. I certainly agree. The horse to beat is the 6, My Friend's Beer here for Jeremiah O'Dwyer.
Yeah, My Friend's Beer coming off 2 really, really big races. We have a video spotlight on My Friend's Beer from his November 14th race. That's a race we're picking up here? And you can pick it up from here with the keys.
Yeah, breaks okay. Breaks with the pack and, showing pretty good speed. Showed the speed at a mile 2 races prior on a fast track. Looks like, hey, we're going to go right ahead and take the lead here. But now Sheldon Russell had something else in mind. Patient ride, decides, okay, you guys can go ahead and go. I'm going to take back off of you and rate and relax. And I tell you, My Friend's Beer, he did just that. He relaxed off the leaders, got good possession, was able to shift out and make a move. And I tell you, he makes a menacing move in hand here coming to the top of the stretch with a quarter of a mile to go. Look at this. Sheldon looks like he's going to win for fun. Paradise Pride to his inside. He's going to be to his inside again today. The rematch goes clear, but I tell you, tapping the glass was not going to be denied at a square price that afternoon. A steady progression up the inside. Hey, My Friend's Beer, though, dead game to the wire, Tim. Was the number influenced, though, by that sloppy track? That's the key. Can he come back something close to that on the dirt? If he does, he is probably a winner.
Well, even if he doesn't, if he comes back to the race before, it was going a mile. The race before, he ran a decent number that day, and that number should hold up. But he certainly looks like he's in very, very good form, getting Fergal Lynch here this afternoon. But that was a good-looking effort the other day, and he did move up there as easily as you can. We both have some interest in the 4. A barrister for Lacey Gaudet. Alex Cintron gets the call, making his second career start.
It wasn't a bad race. Closed up belatedly, behind Kerry Times, who was able to dictate the pace that afternoon. I took a lot of play, decent amount of play in that 10-horse field. I think this horse can move up off of that. Certainly looks like he could handle a little bit of extra ground based on the breeding. Bottom side leans a little bit towards turf. You see Misty on Point, Denrobia horses have done well, okay. Well, they've done all right here on the turf. But, I think the distance is going to be fine for Barrister. And the 2, Lynchburg, Trombetta, synth to dirt, blinkers on. Kind of a sneaky move. He doesn't do it a whole lot, but he's 3 for 10 with this kind of move over the last couple years.
And very good with his second-time starters. They went about 23%. So you've got 3, 6, 4, 7. I've got 6, 4, 5, 1 in today's opener.
All right.
We move to race 2. Race 2 is Super High 5 time. That's Super High 5 in race 2. So we'll offer that in every race with 7 or more starters. And we're still good there with the Super High 5. Right, fellas? Yeah, there we go. 8-horse field in race 2, super high 5, no carry out, 15% takeout, dollar minimum. And this is a starter allowance, 25,000 for 3-year-olds and up, which 4-year-olds and up. Which for claiming price 25, and which have never won 3 races going a mile and a 16th. We have also starts the early Big 4. Keith, you've got a ticket.
I'll take a little shot at it. I'll take a closer look. Ferris Allen, this horse has been running well, improved form of late. Doesn't really get respected at the windows, but he's certainly going to be lower than at 18-1 he was last time. Also tossed in the 6, Paul the Waiter. In the 3rd race, here's our single, Laurel Lady for Benny Feliciano. First time in the barn for Benny. I think he'll get it done at a very short price in race 3. Race 4, we spread a little bit deeper, a couple scratches in there with the 2 Awesome Foo and the Great Provider. We'll go 4, 6, and 7, the obvious horses in there. 5th race, I think it's a spread race. I don't think Lucky Leonard has to win it. He's probably going to be the favorite when it's all said and done now with Pep Talking being scratched. So there you go, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 for a $21 early pick 4.
That's a spread in the 5th, and I don't blame you. The 5th is a little tricky, and why not? You get the other ones down. I'm a little – the single, I just don't know, Laurel Lady, but you got to save some money somewhere. I mean, it looks like it should work. We'll see here a little bit later. In the 2nd race, we both have the 6 on top. Paul the Waiter, he comes in here off a decent effort, and we've got a video spotlight from his last race where he had a little trouble out of there.
A little bit of a stumble early. You see that. About a stride and a half out of the gate, was able to recover. And I tell you, he makes a really good move up to contention. There it is there. Again, a little move to the outside and then a bobble after that. A quick move to reach contention into the turn. And I tell you, Paul the Waiter is going to be able to sustain under a spell at 1-5, just cruising on the lead, about 4 in front past the quarter pole. But Paul the Waiter, he's not going to be denied. He's a horse, this was at 6 furlongs. He has, fared well at a route of ground. I'm not worried at all about this, step up in distance, maybe a step up in price tag from the 10 to the 25. This is a good, determined effort. This is as good as he's going to go. I think he can move up a little bit more off of that and stretch out. Not to worry for me. He's got some speed to target in the one, like what I see. I think Tappahannock's got to be close. Flip's probably going to have to be used a little bit outside to get position. That might just take a little bit of starch out of him, but, man, ran quite well off the claim. But I like Paul the Waiter right back.
I do, too. And he's got some good, as you mentioned, he's got some good races going a route of ground against tougher in allowance races and state-bred races. Yep. So going back, not too far back. So the races are certainly there. You like the 8. You like the 8 a little bit. Flip on the outside. This would be second time for Cal Lynch. He was a winner first time off the claim, and he's getting a fast track here this afternoon, coming off a lifetime best.
I think he's proven it to 2 turns. I don't think he necessarily needs a lead. Got away with some softer fractions last time. That was a heavier, slower track. He dug in gamely to win. I think he can maybe step up a little bit off of that. But closer look's going to get a great trip. He doesn't have a lot of speed. He's going to be able to save ground, just tuck to the inside early, make a steady progression of them. Paired up, 2 good numbers, the second race, third race back, then jumped up to an 80, beats Rohrbacher, who was competitive, or might have won at 2 other than that. Granted, that was off the turf. But closer look is going to be a major late factor in here closing into this pace, because I think it's going to be honest. Tappahannock doing well for Jerry Robb. He doesn't necessarily need to lead, but I think there's going to be a convergence of the speed types around that second turn.
Yeah, Tappahannock's really interesting to me. He's just in really good form. He's run 2 back-to-back life bets off the claim by Jerry Robb, and Jerry just finished the year in really fine fashion at the end of 2019. Race 2, Keith 6-3-8-7, myself 6A. We both have the 6. Paul the Waiter on top in race 2. Race 3 starts the Rainbow Pick 6. And keep that in mind, race 3, 8-race card. Race 3 starts a Rainbow Pick 6. And we throw that board up if we could, fellas. As I mentioned, this is a maiden $10,000 event. Gets the Pick 6 kicked off. No carryover. Gave it all away last Sunday. So we're going to start anew here in 2020. I have a Pick 6 ticket. What do I have here, fellas? I know I have something I had to make. So I had a late scratch. There we go. $32.40 ticket. And I go 3 deep here in race 3 using the 167. I do use Laurel Lady. She looks like she's going to be tough to beat there. Race 4, the 2, 4, and 6. The 6 in that race. Kingston Pike looks very, very tough and in excellent form. 5th race, 3, 8, 9, 3 deep in the 6th and the 7th. And I single in the 9th. It's Madam Tiger, Claudia Gonzalez, Alex Cintron. That was a pretty safe single there. $32.40 ticket on the Rainbow Pick 6. And remember, it gets kicked off in race 3. And race 3 is a maiden event, $10,000 claiming maiden fillies and mares. And Keith, you've got the one Laurel Lady, the aforementioned Laurel Lady on top, going to the Benny Feliciano barn for the first time and stretching out for the second time on the main track here this afternoon.
Oh, we got a couple scratches in here. The 3 My Lion Eyes, it was going to take plenty of play off of the, decent third at Penn, a drop in class, take the 3 out, scratch the 5, Bodicita. Laurel Lady to me, this is just the move. Benny gets this horse aggressive, move to the bottom. A 39 buyer, you just bring that to the table. This is against softer competition, and you look back at the 7th place finisher from the race last time out, came back to run a 36 and a 40 at a little higher level, and we beat her that day. I think she comes back, maybe thirsty again, goes to the speed. She can just sit just off of it and make a move, and I think dominate from the top of the stretch home.
Yeah, I like Thirsty again on top for Dale Capuano here. Throughout the last race, just the 7/8 sometimes doesn't work for horses. Shown some decent races, going a mile within her last 4 starts. 2 starts ago was a good race while running third, getting beat 5.5 lengths. So I'm going to go with Thirsty again and Georgie Ruiz here in today's third race of Maiden 10 event. We both show some interest in the 7 on the outside. Expect Talk. Robin Graham, but after those first 2, the 6 and the 1, it becomes a little wide open, a little bit of a crapshoot here in race 3.
Expect Talk might bring a little bit of a move into the pace. Thirsty again, it might be her race to lose on the front end. They went much too quick last time for her. See, Mama City came in here and just rolled. That was first time Damon from out of Golden Gate. Yeah. So she was kind of discouraged by the time they hit the top of the stretch. She won't have that kind of pressure, I don't think, early on.
No, not at all. So their third race, Keith, you've got the 1 on top. I've got the 6th. 4th race here coming up, optional claimer, $16,000, $8,000 starter, go 5.5 furlongs. And this is an interesting race, I thought, when I kept looking at the race. And we got a couple scratches. Unfortunately, the 2, Awesome Foo, was going to be very well regarded, is out. And also the 5, the Great Provider, came out. And that kind of changed the whole scenario of the race.
The flow of the race has changed, no doubt. Totally. Awesome Foo and the Great Provider, they both want to be close. Nobody really gets in front of the Great Provider here at the opening quarter. So he was the speed of the speed, it looked like to me. That leaves Unbridled Outlaw left for Farrier and James Wolfe coming off the claim for 75. Yeah, he's never tried 5.5 furlongs, but he certainly looks like he's going to be on the engine right up with that Paceful, and he likes to fight. This combo has done well, claiming horses down in Kentucky, bringing them here. I'll take a slight upsetter, though. Stroll Smoking, this is a drop here. Was taken wide against the bias last time out. It'll move into a very fast pace. He's caused some wicked fractions his last 2 races, gets back to 16. I think he works at this level. If he's got one more left in him, I think he can beat this field. I think Trevor can be aggressive, keep him close, and maybe try to run Unbridled Outlaw into the ground, because lurking is going to be Kingston Pike.
Sure. Kingston Pike's going to be sitting right off. But the Stroll Smoking, I agree. His last 2 races have been against first-level allowance horses. And you look at his 5 races before he tried those first-level allowance races, this horse was in very, very good form.
Look who he beat. Tapping Cat, who went on to one. Well, he got taken down out of that 2 other than, right? But
he got taken down. But still, this horse was in great form at a similar level on the main track and on the turf. So he is more than capable. Comes in with the work for Mark Reed and picks up Trevor McCarthy. But the 6, Kingston Pike, no doubt this one's going to be very, very tough. Has just been really good since getting claimed by Carlos Mencina. And Carlos Mencina is another guy who finished out the year in really, really good shape. And we have a video spotlight on Kingston Kingston Pike here this afternoon, and this was a big win.
Yeah, I mean, he just gets a perfect trip yet again, was able to sit inside, just creeps up to the speeds. They're going out there at a pretty good clip, 22, 3, 45, and 4, and Weston just kind of eases on out to the outside. Let's get rolling, puts him to a drive, and he responds. He's going to be able to kick clear in mid-stretch and hold firm late over the closing Divine Interventio. He's certainly going to be capable of laying close enough to this group, I believe, by the time they hit the quarter pole. And it's going to be a rider. What's Trevor going to do? What's Sheldon going to do? Are they going to get into that duel? If they do, man, he's just going to be sitting there licking his chops. Kingston
that's
Pike.
Exactly right. And, now with the two speed horses, the two Awesome Foo and the Great Provider out, that's going to I think it's going to set up a little bit better for him, because I don't think he'll get as outrun without those two in it. No doubt about it. Fourth race there, Keith. And I like Keith. I like the 6 Kingston Pike. You like the 4 Stroll Smoking, but I like the 4 Stroll Smoking too. But I'm going to be very aware of the 7 Unbridled Outlaw.
I think it's going to be a fun little horse race, because there's not a whole lot separating them. I mean, jockeys race between Trevor and Sheldon early. Who wants to go? I don't think either one wants to let the other too far away. And can they kind of separate themselves from that closer and be able to kind of, if they can slow it down a little bit on the turn, that could hamper Kingston Pike's late kick.
Sure.
But good little race there. Even a shorter field, I think it's going to be pretty close at the end.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. We need to take a quick break right here, but we'll be right back after this message.
Located at the foot of the San Gabriel Mountains, Santa Anita Park remains one of sport's most picturesque venues and racing's most glamorous. The home of Hall of Fame horsemen, Hollywood celebrities, and the legendary Seabiscuit, Santa Anita Park offers world-class racing and fine dining in cool California chic. The Stronach family, owners of Santa Anita Park, is committed to the advocacy of thoroughbred racing and the grace, spirit, and generosity of the horse.
Welcome back, race fans, to Today at the Races as we move on with the first program of 2020. I'm Tim Tulloch, Keith Fustel. Here we go. Race 5. Keith, you've got the 4 on top. This is a non-winner. It's a 2 for 5,000, going 3/4 of a mile for 4-year-olds and up. And you've got the 4 on top, Dopper, man, who I gave a little consideration to, but wow, shows up but doesn't show up.
I'm reaching here a little bit. Scratch the 1, Pep Talking, who was certainly going to be in the mix for me. We'll wait for him another day. And looking this is kind of a wide open race. I guess Lucky Leonard is going to be the favorite. But one thing, Jerry's just very good, steady work, especially for these mid-range, nickel up to about 16. He's deadly with these claimers. But allowance to claiming hasn't been the greatest move, about 3 for 21 over the last couple years. I think he's going to be part of the flow, Lucky Leonard. I think the 2 is going to be sent. He kind of rated back after being keen early. So Dapper Mun gets the blinkers on, a belated run and a slop. I think he can kind of wear these horses down. Donnie Barr talking about Mancia finishing well as a trainer. How about the last 90 days for Donnie Barr? 7 for 29. It's 24% with an ROI of 281. Obviously, major flirt, a couple wins for him. Really pumped up that percentage. But Dapper Mon, he's 1 for 14. He might be able to stumble in and get on by these horses.
Well,
late.
He's got the races on his form that are good enough to win this race. There's no doubt about it. It's just you never know when you're really going to get that type of race for him. So maybe the blinkers on will close, make his ideas a little bit more genuine than they have been in the past. I've got the 3 Lucky Leonard on top.
Okay.
Look, one start here at Laurel Park wasn't a bad lately. Wasn't a bad effort. Getting beat 3.5 lengths against a 2 lifetime 10,000. That was back in October, behind Kosher Contract, and it's just kind of run okay since then. 0 for 13 on fast dirt. That's a little bit of not a great stat, but I just think he's found a good enough, soft enough group for himself to get the job done here. The horse on the outside, the 9, Captain Trips, is a little interesting. We both have him. This could be another group that could work for Captain Trips. Now, he shows up every time. He just doesn't show up good enough.
Good enough to get it done and get over the top. But he's hit the board 6 of his last 7, improving buyer figures the last 2, whether it be fast track or a sloppy track. So I think he's going to be hard to leave out of your tries and your supers. Awesome Buzz, talking about speed. Kenny Decker, this horse comes up north from Gulfstream Park West. he is dead set and probably going to be able to clear this field. So if he can kind of hold sway a little bit early, maybe Lucky Leonard, I'm maybe hoping his move can flatten out just a touch and set things up for a little bit bigger price, but I might be hoping a little bit too much.
Well, also, Buzz, I love those horses that come from the south to the north and get this cool air, and this horse has run as recently as November down there and has worked as recently here at Laurel Park, so I like that. Captain Tripp's rider change there. Xavier Perez rides. Yeah. So, Xavier Perez ended 2019 on a roll, also a regular rider of the great Anna's Bandit. So they're in the 5th race, 2 lifetime nickel race. It's a little wide open.
Yeah, I think it is. What I take everybody but one. Watch Conquistador Fuego jump up and get me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That'd be a bad day.
That'd be rough. I'll just exit 2020, never come back. So.
Race 6. A state bred allowance race for 4-year-olds and upward, 6.5 furlongs, fillies and mares, 6.5 furlongs, and both Keith and I have the 6 on top, and that is
Little Miss Rayland.
Little Miss Rayland. Yeah, we both have the 6 on top. Coming in when she was last seen, which hasn't been since last January. She ran a pretty nice race to get the job done coming in off the layoff for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
Yeah. I think this horse is going to be okay. And looking at the recent workup there, first of 88, and did it with a horse that was favored in a maiden special weight field up in New York that has plenty of speed. There is some speed in this race. I think Bunting's going to take pretty much the majority of the play for Rodney Jenkins, but Little Miss Rayland, I like horses. They can win debut, had some adversity at the starts afterward, finished up well. Now this long layoff, Sip of Sunshine, a key horse. I think this horse might be the speed of the speed and be able to dictate it and get away from this field. So Bunting, we've got a stat, right, for Rodney Jenkins. Yeah, safely kept a little too tough. But Rodney, here's him, the last 2 years on the dirt with favorites. And I think Bunting's going to be your favorite here. He's pretty good. 13 for 26 and 20 for 26 in the money, with a positive ROI of $2.30. Bunting gets a clear trip from the outside. Will certainly be part of the pace flow a long, long way. Is this? Do we have a late scratch in here in this race or no?
Yeah, the 5 is a late scratch here. Saltworks.
Okay, Saltworks a late scratch.
Yep.
Now you made it. Can she reach up and carry that move another furlong today? That was a big effort for Kieran last time. I didn't see that coming on the main track. That kind of number, that kind of performance. But, man, she brings it back. She's going to be awfully tough.
She's going to be awfully tough, and she's looking for 3 in a row. And, look, she ran her lifetime best race on the dirt in her last race. And it was a big effort that afternoon. Bunting, I think she gets back to what she wants to do. First of all, the right company, but also sprinting, going 3/4 of a mile. They ran really fast in the safely kept 45 and 2 for the half mile. It was just too quick for her.
That was just too quick.
Too fast. But she'll bounce back here this afternoon. But I like Little Miss Rayland coming in off that layoff for Engelhardt, and a sharp work from the gate. And that's a good work. Yeah. You're working from the gate. It's you go 48 flat from the gate. It's not like working from the pole where you got your momentum going. That's a big, strong work there.
And the one thing with her, just notice, I don't think we comment, that was first-time blinkers last time as well. And she got headed in battle back. That could have been a key to some improvement there. Obviously got away a little bit better than what she did in her prior start. But fresh and ready to roll and back at Laurel, a track we know she's fine over.
No doubt. 7th race. A starter allowance, optional 16,000. I don't know what this is. 25,000 our claiming price. Lots of conditions here. Going a mile and a 16th. And you have the 6 on top.
I do.
King Koa, interesting horse to me. I ended up using it at the bottom of my ticket.
All right.
But go ahead. Sell me on this one.
Well, this is, again, the flow is a little different. Now it's changed. Bustoff, who I thought was going to be part of it. Throw the Fate certainly was going to be full. We're going 2 turns. King Koa, he can handle 2 turns. Second time in a barn, it does very good at Laurel Park when they come down here. The last couple of years, Joseph Taylor, 4 for 13. That's 31%. 8 for 13 in the money with a good ROI. I think King Koa comes against those fields at Parks are good enough. What's it going to take to win this race? Probably a lower to mid-70, I think. I think he can bring this race to the table. Stalk Outplay, who's going to be probably your speed today, is going to be going ahead and send with Cintra on a gritty effort for the Open 12-5 off of a layoff. But I think Koa Kinkoa can stalk that one. He's going to have to worry about the 2, Moonlight Shadow. Maybe a desperation move for Rodney, but here's another stat for Rodney. 3rd off the layoff with his dirt runners the last 3 years. 6 for 14. That's 43% with an ROI of over $3. Moonlight Shadow, an improvement in numbers last time. This is a softer group than that. I think he can once again save ground. He doesn't have a lot of speed. I really would have liked him a little bit more if some of these horses stayed in, but I think he can progress up to them and be a player in the 7th.
Yeah, well, it would the scratch of the 3 bust off in the 7th, throw the fade. The whole complexion of the race did change. But Kinkoa, going back to 6 Kinkoa, the races are simply there.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, the races are there. It's kind of fallen off his form over his last 3 or 4, but earlier this year, this horse was in very good form. Only shows 3 wins for the year and some good races with decent results and good numbers. Hopefully he just wasn't getting dragged to big numbers there.
Okay.
I've got the 4, Can't Pass It Up for Bernard Dunham. 2 in a row here at Laurel Park. Basically at this level, it just comes from so far back, but was able to come from so far back in the slop in his last start.
Yeah, he was. He's gotten some setups. He's been a different horse. Notice that since being gelded, the form has drastically improved. Yeah, he's another one. He would have loved to have some of these other speed horses
no
in the
doubt,
because he did kind of have those setups in his last couple. We called him at some good prices, though.
Absolutely.
So,
it works sense.
We love Can't Pass It Up. We just don't love him
exactly.
today to maybe win it. Watch, he might get us.
I like him a little bit here on top here in the 7th. 6-2-5-4 for Keith, 4-5-6-1. For myself as we go to the finale. And before we get to the finale, let's just remind you of the racing schedule for the next few days here at Laurel Park. Racing today, dark tomorrow, simulcast only, and then we race Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the following week we go into our 4-day-a-week schedule through February.
Yeah.
So lots of racing action here at Laurel Park for your New Year's weekend. And we get it kicked off today, and we finish it up here in the 8th race, claiming 16,000 fillies and mares, going 3/4 of a mile. Scratch the 1 Highland Last. That was a big scratch for me. Also, you can't forget, and I just did, Quinella time. Last race every day here at Laurel Park. Quinella, low 10% takeout, $2 minimum wager. Just pick your 2, put your $2 down, and hope for the best, but nice low takeout there. Last live race every racing day here at Laurel Park. And Keith, in the 8th, you and I both land on the 3, Madam Tiger.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing I didn't like is the comment last time up at Penn and our notes at Penn. I was talking to the guys in Equibase in the office today. We've got, I think, Charcoal up there, younger guys, doing really good up there. Some good notes. Switch leads at the 16th pole. You usually don't like seeing that, but it could be an indicator, a negative indicator. But Madam Tiger, to me, it's Claudio, it's speed, it's Laurel. I mean, I've seen this movie too many times. Right to the front and dictate it. Here, Madam Tiger, I think, gets it done for 16.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think she's coming 3rd off of a layoff. Her last 2 have improved. She's gone the right direction over her last 2. Sharp work since that last race. And I agree. It looks like Madam Tiger and Alex Cintron gate to wire here this afternoon. Too Hot Betty is a little interesting to me because on her best, Too Hot Betty can be very, very tough.
Yeah, she's flashed some talent. She's flashed some races that would probably get her close to winning this. If we've got a little falter here, maybe in the favorite, she can kind of wear her down. Yeah, she was on the lead at Charlestown. I cannot see her on the lead with Madam Tiger today, given a clean break, but certainly she can stalk and make a move into this short field. So Madam Tiger, I think it's going to be her race to kind of lose on the front end.
And Too Hot Betty's been running in allowance races, got the out of that at Charlestown, but a couple decent first-level allowance races right here at Laurel Park. She gets back to a level where the last 2 times she's run at this type of level, she got beat a nose and she won. That race was on the turf, but as far as the level goes, this looks like her spot.
Yeah,
no doubt
agreed
about it. The 5 on the outside, I just wasn't sure what to think about Hide and Seek Sally. She's got some races earlier this year that were pretty decent. One was on the main track back at Indiana. One was on the synthetic. Not so good lately, but this would be 3rd off the claim for for Jamie Ness, and getting a little relief here this afternoon.
Yeah,
back at the level that he claimed her at.
Yeah, not a real good gauge. I don't know what you can make of that race at Parks. First off, the claim on a sloppy sealed surface. Yeah, as the numbers, it certainly worked. This is a kind of a horse that Ness will just kind of jump up and kind of beat you with. But, I'm not super confident about her. But she's only got to She's only got to beat a couple other horses.
I don't know about you, but unless some of the top horses are coming down from Parks, it's hard for me sometimes to read where their form's going to fit. The numbers sometimes be a little inflated up there at Parks, and some horses simply don't like it. They don't run well up there, and then they'll come down here and run holes in the wind here at Laurel Park. So there you have the race card for this afternoon. 8-race card gets kicked off at 12:25. No carryovers all afternoon. We race today, tomorrow off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Happy New Year. Hope you come out and join us here this afternoon. For myself, Keith.
Best of luck to everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Everything was good for you 2019, 2020. Let's make it even better. And, best of luck in all your racing endeavors. And we're here for you. We're going to do our best, right, to at least lead you in the right direction. If we can do that.
At least attempt to get you going the right way. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you at the races.
Good luck.